Southeast Asia. For anyone familiar with the Southeast Asian Games, or the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, you will know there are 11 countries in Southeast Asia. A few only have one operating permanent roller coaster, and Timor-Leste does not have any. As I make my bucket list plans to travel and ride as many roller coasters in this region as I can, I want to clarify which coasters in this region are worth pursuing the coaster credit for. In this list, I will count down my personal top 25 coaster credits that I would like to achieve from Southeast Asia. A few notes before getting started. First, I won't include any roller coasters from Thailand, since I've already ridden those coasters that would make this list. I will mention those coasters where I feel they would place, though. Second, I'm going off the online roller coaster database to tell me what coasters are out there, as well as to begin my search for video and pictures on these roller coasters. Since I haven't ridden any of these coasters, I may not be able to provide the best pictures or videos when discussing them. So please bear with me on that. And thank you to everyone who let me use their videos. Third, I normally rank similar roller coasters separately, but will combine them for the sake of this countdown. I have really no way of separating very similar coasters without riding them, and also, I want to talk about as many of these coasters as possible. Fourth, I will rank coasters on a mix of how rare they are and how good they appear. There are a few unique styles of roller coasters, something I specifically seek out, that will be ranked highly on this list, even though they likely are not some of the best coasters in this region. Everyone's ranking lists will be different, especially when it comes to anticipation lists. For example, La Vibora at Six Flags Over Texas was the top coaster I wanted to ride at that park because of its uniqueness, despite it being one of the most neutral and lowest ranked roller coasters that I've ridden. Finally, I will do my best with pronunciations, but may make a few mistakes with some of these coaster names and parks. Honorable mention: Junior Coaster, Brunei. Brunei has only one roller coaster, Junior Coaster, located at Jurong Park Playground. As the former home of Siam Amazing Park's roller coasters, this would be a great credit to get. However, with its size, it wasn't able to make the actual list. Honorable mention: Unknown, Laos, and Unknown, Cambodia. Laos and Cambodia both have one operating coaster. These are presumed to be Jungle Wild Mouse style coasters, and I'd love to check both these countries off my coaster credit list, especially with their proximity to Thailand and Surin. Number 25. High Speed Round Trip, Vietnam. And Spartan Race, Vietnam. These are both Vekoma Family Boomerangs, which, since I haven't ridden one yet, would be enjoyable for me to ride, especially with how open High Speed Round Trip is. This coaster seems to offer a unique riding experience for this type of coaster. Number 24. Aero Loopers and Similar Coasters. As a bit of a stretch for lumping similar coasters together, this spot holds the 6 different roller coasters that are all similar to Aero Loopers, with a vertical loop or 2, and then double corkscrews with not much else happening. Halilintar in Indonesia and Zimmerman in the Philippines are both actual aero looping coasters. Roller Coaster in Vietnam and Roller Coaster in Vietnam are both made by Hebe Zihong Ye. Roller Coaster in Myanmar is made by Beijing Shibolai. And Hanoi Steel Dragon in Vietnam is made by Mesho. Number 23. Pinifari Loopers. Two exist across the region. Superman coaster in Indonesia and Loop coaster in the Philippines. Although offering a basic style layout, to be able to ride one of these coasters that goes upside down would be a treat for sure. Number 22. Kereta Misteri, Indonesia. This intimate family launch coaster appears to have more regular trains than theme trains common on these models. While being indoors, it also has a switch track and a backwards section. Although I wouldn't enjoy this coaster that much, as I'm not a huge fan of Wavebreaker the Rescue Coaster at SeaWorld San Antonio. This offers a unique style family coaster though that is intriguing. Number 21. Ipanema Skate Ride, Vietnam. This intimate surf rider makes the list for simply being a unique enough roller coaster, though you can find these in the United States, such as Avatar Airbender at Nickelodeon Universe. Number 20. Battlestar Galactica, Singapore. Universal Studios Singapore likely has a strong coaster collection for the region, and this Vekoma creation seems to be its best coaster. On this coaster, a family coaster duels with an inverted track, creating what I can only imagine as awesome visuals and an enjoyable experience. I just don't know that much about this coaster, and I'm not prone to wanting to rank it too highly on this list. Number 19. Gold Mining Coaster, Indonesia. This is an L&T Systems Wild Mouse that ranks this highly purely because I'd enjoy being able to ride in mine train style cars, such as those you can use in Roller Coaster Tycoon. The second half looks like it possibly could also offer decent airtime and drops as well, though that's really hard to tell from video of a wild mouse. Number 18. Queen Cobra, Vietnam. As the only other basic SLC in the region, besides Vortex at Siam Amazing Park, I want to be able to ride this coaster to compare it to one of the largest roller coasters in Thailand. Vortex, Thailand. As the longest standard SLC in the world, this is a unique ride for any SLC fan or those seeking coaster credits. I find this coaster much more enjoyable than B&M inverts that I've ridden, though I may be in the minority on that. Check out my full review if you'd like to know more. Number 17. Supersonic Odyssey, Malaysia. This intimate looping coaster travels around indoors. With the theming, it looks interesting and a good mix between a family coaster and a solid roller coaster that would be enjoyable to ride. Number 16. Kraken's Revenge, Malaysia. This mock water coaster features a turning drop and a bunny hill after its main drop, though it doesn't have a backwards section like my favorite, Journey to Atlantis at SeaWorld San Antonio. Being able to ride a different version of a mock water coaster would be enjoyable, and I'm curious how that bunny hill would be for airtime. Number 15. Super Glider, Malaysia. This Samperla Valore runs a familiar layout. As I've yet to be on one of these, I want to try out this infamous style of coaster for sure. And I also just feel riding one of these in Southeast Asia is the way to truly experience these types of coasters. Number 14. Boomerang Challenge Coaster, Indonesia, and Boomerang Hyper Coaster, Indonesia. As I'm not a big fan of boomerangs, it comes as a surprise to see these so high on this list. Both appear to have the new vest restraints, and both are placed on top of roofs, which appear to give great views of the surrounding streets and cities. Even if this is the most popular coaster in the world, I'd love to experience it in this urban setting. Number 13, Wrath of Zeus, Vietnam. As the first Vekoma Firestorm coaster, this launch coaster from Vekoma features a top hat, inversions that appear to offer solid hang time, as well as a layout that has some twists and turns towards the end. Depending on how the airtime and hang time plays on this coaster, it is certainly in the running to be one of the best coasters in Southeast Asia. Number 12, Highway Boat, Vietnam. This unique inverted coaster from ABC Rides appears to have face-off style trains, while going through a slow turning bit at the beginning before taking on bigger helixes. Given the layout, it may not be the best coaster, but may be more enjoyable to me than Batman the Ride clones. I rank it this highly because of the unique cars and style of this coaster. Number 11, Eagle Soar Glider, Vietnam. One of 3 styles of single rail suspended coasters that will make this list. As single rail suspended coasters seem to be a rare type of coaster, I am fascinated by them and want to ride as many different types as possible. This one is from Extreme Engineering and is their Cloud Coaster model, which is the same makers who are building a single rail suspended coaster around Richland Chambers in Texas, as well as other parts of the world. Number 10, Samba Gliders, Malaysia, and Canopy Flyer, Singapore. Setpoint's only 2 remaining coasters, these single rail suspended coasters offer gliding over scenery and do not feature, as far as I can tell, the water components that were found in Flying Super Saturator at Carowinds and Roller Soaker at Hershey Park. With a unique place in roller coaster history, it would be very enjoyable to ride one of these single rail suspended coasters. Number 9, Wild Wind, Philippines. This small looping coaster from Interpark just seems fascinating, with its tiny but likely snappy sidewinder, and then the speed that it can get on its final helix. Though not as unique as I want to think it is, with 6 other operating versions worldwide, and probably not as big as a good coaster should be, this one just fascinates as a potentially exciting ride. I also wonder if it's small enough that my wife would enjoy it. Slalom, Thailand. This built in-house roller coaster is unique, with its wild mouse style trains and spiral lift hill. Its setting by the beach and water park is awesome. With 2 solid drops, it seems to offer a beautiful and promising layout. But the question is how that final stretch delivers. Check out my full review if you'd like to know more. Number 8, Pharaoh, Philippines. This is one of the larger coasters from Jinema Rides in the region and features spinning trains that face inwards as well as an inversion. With my love for Pandemonium, I have a special place in my heart to try as many extreme spinners as possible, and this seems like a unique one for sure. Number 7. Racing Coaster, Indonesia. This Premier Rides coaster seems to use an LSM launch in a layout that looks similar to Mr. Freeze, except that the turnaround is low to the ground. As the Spike and coaster are smaller than Mr. Freeze, I'm not expecting a lot, but it is likely a solid coaster for the region. Number 6. Unknown, Vietnam. This is an inverted roller coaster from Jinema, and makes the list for simply being a rare and rather unknown version of an inverted roller coaster, though clones exist in China and other regions. With how SLCs and B&M inverts feel different, I'd love to ride different versions of inverted roller coasters when given an opportunity. Number 5. Starflyer, Philippines. Speaking of rare inverted roller coasters, this is one of only 2 operating inverts from Pinifari. As Pinifari is known for making smaller coasters that look like they can be moved, how their style would play in the inverted setting would be fascinating to experience, besides the more interesting question of why more of these weren't built to begin with. Number 4. Dragon's Run, Vietnam. For those seeking all the B&M credits, there is one running traditional trains in Vietnam. Dragon's Run appears to have a very basic out and back layout with a straight drop, vertical loop, and then a cobra roll for a turnaround. However, I don't think that would be a problem, as it looks like a very enjoyable version of a B&M coaster. Number 3. Roaring Timbers, Vietnam. The newest Great Coasters International coaster is the only true wooden roller coaster in Southeast Asia. Though I'm not a large fan of the Millennium Flyer restraints, the forested setting for this coaster, combined with the name power of GCI, makes it a great coaster to seek out. It is located in the south of Vietnam, which appears to be away from many other coasters on the map. But with Vin Wonders nearby, this may be the best place for coasters in all of Vietnam, as you can hit up number 11, 13, 21, and 25 on this list. Plus, an epic-looking indoor Vekoma suspended family coaster, while getting a ride on Roaring Timbers. Number 2. Backglider, Indonesia, and Backglider, Indonesia. After longingly watching the Scooby-Doo coaster at Kings Island, I have a special place in my heart if I'm ever able to ride a single rail coaster like it. Fortunately, 2 such models exist in Southeast Asia, with these 2 backgliders in Indonesia. They likely are not the most exciting roller coaster, but rank highly because of my desire to ride this specific model of coaster. Number 1. Animal Coaster, Indonesia, and Crazy Car Coaster, Indonesia. These 2 wooden Wild Mouse coasters from Hopkins and Pierce offer the most unique style of coaster in the region, as the only other wooden Wild Mouse coaster in the world is in Australia. After a traditional Wild Mouse turn section, they have 2 airtime hills that could potentially offer very nice airtime. Though I wouldn't be too hopeful, as other more promising hills have left me down in the past. But if there's one coaster that I'd like to get a credit for in this region, it would be these super unique Wild Mouse coasters. Those are my top 25 coasters that I'd like to ride in Southeast Asia. Likely, this list will be different than yours, and with as little knowledge as I have on some of these coasters, my rankings may be a little off, even for myself. But I hope this helps to give you a good overview of the larger and more interesting roller coasters in this region of the world. What roller coasters are you interested in riding in Southeast Asia? What are your favorites that you've already ridden? Are you more interested in the larger or unique coasters in this region? And if you have ridden any of these roller coasters, I'd love to hear more details about how they ride and if they are as good as I hope they will be. So let me know. And as always, Cup Kun Crap.
View-nya ini menggila.